All right, we're live on all platforms. Welcome to Green Card Guys TV. I'm your host, John Ting. I practice immigration law in the United States, helping you solve your immigration problem, maybe even prevent that problem from happening in the first place. And some of y'all know there's a hell of a ton of problems with immigration in the United States. Who would have known unless you've experienced it, right? So that's why I'm here to share those problems really through the questions you ask, okay? All right, what's going on? Hope y'all having a good day. I just got back from my kids' what do you call it? Easter picnic. Couldn't even remember because yesterday was the Easter egg hunt. So two different events for the kids. If you got a little kiddo, you might pretty busy yourself. Hey, Miss Silva, appointment scheduled for today. Okay, great with Paula. Yeah, she'll if you haven't spoken with her yet, probably not. She definitely points you in the right direction, get you pre-qualified to speak with an attorney. And unfortunately, I wish it could be me. I can't be in all places, but of course, if the her or an attorney, one of our attorneys has a question, they do share that with me almost every day. Alrighty, but thank you so much. And what else? Yeah, just because I have to go to, I even have to fly to court later today, or really for tomorrow. So yeah, we're rocking away. So here's the deal. Now, for employing, if you're a company, okay, just quick topic for today, and then I'm going to answer some questions. If you're a company, if you're HR, if you're an entrepreneur, and you're considering to start a company, startup, however you want to call it, and at some point, you're most likely going to come up on a resume that someone applied to one of your jobs, your career page, and that person is a foreign national, aka meaning a person is born outside of the United States. And most likely, if you received an application with someone with that no status in America, or like a temporary status, like F1 student visa or OPT, you really need to think big picture. Okay. Look, someone's going to work for you who's not born in the United States and not a permanent resident. They likely would like some kind of permanent status. So you really need to take your head out of your, you know what, and really think about that. I don't think they're gonna want to work for you and then just bounce without having a conversation about permanent resident status. Just to put that out there. Um, so hopefully that gives you an idea in a sense in terms of big picture, because some people end up leaving because there was no conversation about that, of sponsoring for not just for non-immigrant visa, but also for residency. And some people are shy. So you don't want to lose a really good employee, a team member, because there was no conversation about that. Now let me get down to some tips for employers, okay? And also, I guess, slash employees in this sense. Okay, so some of y'all know H-1B registration closed this past Monday. All right. Announcements should come out latest. It's supposed to come out latest at the end of March, March 31st. So that's really soon. We're coming down to the wire, folks. This also includes people, this is for H-1B. So it's a temporary work permit, valid for 3 years up to another term of 3 years, and then can be extended 1 year at a time after that, or 3 years at a time. Just depends on the scenario. So, anyways, but if you're not in that situation, okay, and you didn't make the cut, if you don't make the cut by March 31st, maybe you were registered by a company, then you really need to get on the ball and continue networking, okay? Most people won't tell you this, that America, to get a certain type of job, it's not always the grades, y'all. It's who you know. It is really who you know, I think, in my opinion. Um, and also it's like getting mentors, right? So even if you don't know where to get sponsored, unfortunately, there's not one long list of companies that sponsor. So, and I know many people are concerned, like, how do I get sponsored? I mean, I don't have that list. I wish I did, but I don't. I mean, I don't think any immigration lawyer has that list. So you want to consider that and just get hustling and network. Okay. All right. So, but in terms of employers, I don't think it's an employer perspective, like, and I could be wrong for some employers, but I don't think it's like, hey, I want to hire a foreign national. I think it's just usually when you come across an application and you're thinking, what do I need to know? But by the time you come through an application, you're scrambling. So if you don't have an immigration law firm or attorney as a resource, might want to consider Teen Law Group, okay? Over here at greencardguys.tv. All right, so um, in reality, here's an example of what I mean by that. Because let's say you may have offered a position to someone, and then after you offered, you may or may not have known, oh, this person has some kind of status that's not related to U.S. citizen or permanent resident, and this doesn't look good to backtrack if I don't have a way to sponsor this person. So that's where you can start scrambling. The second scenario where you start scrambling as an employer's perspective, if you made an offer to someone already and then you talk to an immigration lawyer eventually, sooner the better, obviously, and then you find out, oh, the prevailing wage is actually less, and maybe significant, I won't say significantly, but less than what you offered. So you're thinking, oh, shoot, I could have offered less. Now, I'm not saying you should do that, right? But that's just to behoove like HR. HR, if you're an hiring manager on that level, you definitely you really should talk to immigration lawyer first. Okay. And most law firms, immigration law firms, don't go through that process with you in the beginning I mean, they may not go through every single detail of the job description, but they can give you a fairly decent idea. At least we do decent idea what the proposed wage could be in terms of prevailing wage, and that's set by the Department of Labor. Okay, separate agency from USCIS. All right, so those are my employment tips for today. So if you are on LinkedIn, you have any questions, or anyone else, you're welcome to, of course, contact us on your respective platforms. So for LinkedIn folks, I'm gonna jump off here, but for everyone else, I'm still on with y'all. Okay. Alrighty. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Thank you so much for your questions. Thanks for sharing the live. Thanks for following and liking. Really appreciate it. We're here to serve you and help you get legal status so you can live and work in America legally. Alrighty. Volcon, you're on. Heart Center has announced today. Do you have any idea? Man, there's a lot of announcements. I meant to share this on LinkedIn as well. Um, and of course, all the other platforms. But let me check the USCS page. I went live last night and I am beat. Now it's tough to do that. Do 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 do. At least on the USCS page, I don't see anything about the Heart Center. If you're talking about the Service Center, uh, the most recent thing was March 26th about H1B. No, nothing there. All right, let's see. But if I see some, I'll share it. Alrighty. Danny V69. How long does it take to get work permit for same-sex marriage of a person overstaying J1? So the processing times doesn't matter if it's same-sex or opposite sex marriage. Um, J1. I know, a typical lawyer. To answer your question, I basically have to give you a little bit and then ask you a question. So for J1 visa, some of you might know this, but you have to check your passport to see if you have a stamp. Passport is always the first location to check. If you have a stamp that says 2-year restriction, okay, I think the letter is 212E. But you would know it would be pretty clearly marked on your passport. And if you do have that 2-year restriction, you're technically supposed to be outside the US for 2 years, okay? And if you didn't, you overstayed, right? So then you have to apply for a waiver, okay? Or first, we usually try the no objection letter from your embassy or consulate first, okay? That's in the United States. Um, but maybe you already took care of that. So if that's the case, then the work permit in general would take about 5-6 months average, unless you get approved for residency, which in your case you didn't yet. All right. Travel document. How long can you stay outside USA? So I don't want to assume that you have the 131 application approved yet, but essentially, it depends how long you ask for, and they might not give you that exact same time. So it depends. Macho Carol, what does it mean your case has been transferred to field office for the 485 application? Um, okay, so it means that it's just moving to the next step. So you're getting closer. Okay. It doesn't not necessarily mean that your interview is gonna, I mean, your case is gonna result in interview or not. They could still waive it. It's possible. But again, if you, like I mentioned, pretty much every day, if you do get scheduled for an interview, that's not a bad thing. Don't get scared. At least if you have an attorney, they're supposed to prepare you. Okay. With us, we prepare our clients. Even if you don't want us to attend in person, which we do offer three different service levels, depending what kind of service you want. All right. I don't know if y'all care about this, but I mean, I sometimes pin the comment, but when I do that, I can't see the whole thing. All right, Ulo Wakimi. You got approved for a 485 and I-130, but your child's case, I-130 is under review. You don't understand. Okay, well, great for you. Unfortunately, yeah, even if you filed in the same package or same family nucleus, unfortunately, yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna get all approved at the same time. But yeah, that sounds pretty ridiculous. I mean, I also don't want to assume that like you just got approved yesterday. Sounds like it's been a couple weeks. But I've our case experience when it's been not decided the same day, it's usually like a month average. Fortunately, we haven't had anything longer than that. All right. What's up, Stephanie? You asked, where am I located? We are in Houston, Texas. We have a physical office. Yes, we have a physical office in Houston, Texas. You can find us. We're not a virtual lawyer. We have team members that work remotely. Not all of them, but some of them do. But we have an office. You can find us. You can Google search us at Ting Law Group. And our website is greencardguys.com. By the way, if you're interested in how to get in contact with us, especially if I'm not able to answer your question as in depth as possible, because this is social media. We're trying to spit out answers quickly here. I don't know how other people do it, um, but I do try to do it quickly, more so because there's a lot of questions. But the best way is, at least on TikTok, go to the profile, click up. I think up there, or sometimes it might pop up down there when I watch other people in general. Then you click on that link below the profile picture, and you're gonna answer a few questions. And we started something new a couple weeks ago. It's been working out still, but we have a link. It'll redirect you to a link to pay this amount. I can't say it out loud, but it's just one hand here of that amount, and it's like a hold fee, like a hotel. And it's less than, at the end of the day, it's actually less than a cup of coffee. So if you're a coffee aficionado, that's not me. Um, I think you know the pricing better than I do. Our hold fee is less than a cup of coffee, probably for the coffee that you want. Um, hey JQC Healthfit, what's up? We got a gym. We're in Houston, Texas. Where are we at? We are at Hillcroft and 59. Okay, around the area, right out southwest of the loop, southwest of the 610 loop. Houston has like 5 loops or something, so just trying to remember. Your follow-up question is, you filed for I-130, your LPR now, you filed it in November 2022, so a year and 5 months or so. How long to wait for your spouse and son? If you become citizen, would be slower. If you upgrade, okay, so yeah, that's a pretty in-depth conversation because just I'm trying to make a quick answer here. If you become a U.S. citizen, it's like pros and cons because, well, let me see if I can pull up the visa bulletin real quick. I got so many tabs open. Okay, there we go. Let me pull up visa bulletin. But essentially, long story short, the visa bulletin with your children, your son, you can include your son in this current petition, this package, this pathway with your spouse. However, the deal is, if you become a U.S. citizen, that's supposed to be an auto conversion to you to immediate relative classification, which helps your spouse because that's immediate relative. Um, but depending on the age of your son, it can affect it, right? Um, so through family preferences, it's not a short answer. There's no way to make this a short answer, but essentially, you have to number one, you have to file a separate petition for your son if you become a U.S. citizen. But they're working on case. They're working on cases in general. I don't know which country you're waiting on, or not waiting on, but country nationality. But in general, for most countries, September 2020 on Chart A. 4 years old. Okay, okay. Um, but you would have to start the process over again in terms of the petition if you become a U.S. citizen. And then, more or less, you got to, of course, count the time that your application to become a citizen would take, which in Houston, as it sounds like you're in the area, that would take 3 to 5 months, okay, on average from time of filing to oath ceremony. That's been our, at least for 2023, our case experience. I know I remember random stuff like that. I try to remember data like that to be helpful for y'all. Okay, so yeah, this is definitely a strategy call. Okay, but depends on your at the end of the day, it depends on your personal needs. Of course, everyone wants their family together sooner than later, but it also depends on your budget. So a couple of things to think about that we're happy to walk you through. Okay, the best way to contact us. I don't have it perfect on YouTube yet, but my website is on YouTube at least in general. Greencardguys.com. Okay, let's see here. Alrighty. Okay, I'm gonna switch back and forth between the platforms. So if you haven't heard your question, be called up. I apologize. This is very important. My for BLM. Why are there never any civil rights attorneys online? That's interesting. I love to do that type of work. I just don't. It's definitely. That's interesting. Yeah, you're right. I haven't seen any online that do that kind of work. Maybe it's because they're used to like traditional media. I mean, if I were them, I would just stick to TikTok because, anyways. But yeah, that'd be interesting. I need to talk to some of my friends and colleagues about that who may do that work. There's a just anything related to law. Those lawyers just need to get on TikTok, any platform that can share information like this. Which, by the way, I have to share because of my state bar ethics. This is information. This is not legal advice specific to you. Blah blah blah. But the best thing to do is to contact us, schedule a meeting with us one on one. Okay. And also, I mean, good point, as well. We do have referral network across the country. We may not have one specific to your request, and that's okay. We're happy to ask in our groups, our message boards, but it could take a couple days, and it could take a week. But certainly, if we think it could take longer, we won't tell you, say, hey, hold on. You're of course welcome to continue searching, but if there's any way that we can save you some time, um, I may not necessarily know every single lawyer, and I would definitely let you know that. Okay. And even if I did know them to, this level or that level, you still need to do your own due diligence. It's very important. Read the Google reviews. I encourage other law firms to ask for it, ask for feedback. Some are lazy, even though they do great work. So it's hard to tell. It's hard to know who to hire. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like, do y'all read like Amazon reviews or I feel like some Amazon reviews are fake, by the way. What do y'all think? Because there's like always a lot, and it's just hard to get a review in the first place. I think that's interesting. But in Google, looking for a restaurant, I don't know why. Like we tend to read more reviews from restaurants out of anything else. All right, Danielle on YouTube. You're new to the channel. Welcome to Green Card Guys TV. I'm your host, John Ting. Is there a possibility that you will have an interview this fiscal year? You're on so fiscal year ends on end of September. You're on EB3 Philippines, November 2022. EB3? You got DQ'd in 2023? Oh, okay. Let me scroll down here. I guess you could say the Visa Bulletin is one of my favorite websites. We just have to look at it. It does say November workout cases, chart A, since you are abroad. We're working on chart, that would be chart A, November 22nd, 2022. Okay, so you're coming up. I don't have a precise timing like how soon the interview will be after your date reaches, but definitely don't let 6 months pass by because once it becomes a year pass by, like eventually, let's say it says November 2023, that's not going to be good for you, Danielle, or anyone else in that kind of situation. So don't always just assume that your embassy or consulate is going to contact you and say, "Hey, your interview is ready to go. Here's a date." Like you might want to email them or contact them somehow and just let them know, "Hey, my prior date's reached. How can I set up the interview?" Okay? Because if you don't pursue your immigration visa, then they're going to think you gave up on it when it's after it reaches 1 year after your prior date reaches on the bulletin. So you definitely want to follow the correct chart. If you're in the United States with non-immigrant visa currently, then you want to follow chart B. Okay. Chart B is still helpful for folks who are outside the United States, but that's more so to when to upload documents. Genaro Andres on YouTube. Okay, what's up? You're LPR since 2011. You spent 5 years abroad. Ooh, 5 years abroad. And in 2021, you moved back to USA. I'm glad they let you back in, brother. Man. Yeah, some people they don't let in after they see that 5 years. Man, 2021, and you move. Oh, okay, because probably because of pandemic a bit too. You move back to USA. You have 36 months here, and you would like to apply for N400. Well, how did you, Hinar? How did you get status through your spouse? And then are you still married to that same spouse? If not, then it's going to default to 5 years, which will be 60 months. Okay, 60 months is what I recommend. You got to wait. So what is that? 5 years. All right. But I see you got 36, so it just depends on your scenario. 36 is fine if you're still married to the spouse that sponsors you, Hinaro. Alrighty. What's up? All right, let's go to switch to other platform. I feel kind of like a talk show host in some way. Okay, here we go. Hmm. All right, New York '04. You filed a lawsuit against USCIS in district court and you served summons to all defendants. How long? I mean, first, do you have a lawyer? It's gonna be a lot easier with the lawyer. I mean, share your experience if you didn't hire a lawyer, but, because if you're asking me, um, yeah, it's 60 days. The government has 60 days. If you sue a government agency, they have 60 days to respond to you, and when it's with us, when we file lawsuits along with my colleagues, it's typically they're either going to request an extension of time with us because they're not going to start working on your case. A lot of people get this misunderstanding that the U.S. attorney is going to start working on a case like this the same day that the notice of appearance. So they follow something called notice of appearance, basically saying, "Hey, I'm the U.S. attorney working this case," but that does not mean they're going to start working on a case like tomorrow or the same day. That's not how it works. If anything, it could be like a clerk uploading that notice of appearance. So maybe that assigned attorney has no idea, right? Um, but we're always happy to contact them. That's part of our workflow. But we also don't expect that they're going to respond to us like tomorrow, because there's just a lot of cases. It's just playing for them at least. I mean, we try to do our best not to pay work. What do you call that? Backlog. But the government certainly does because they get a lot of cases in terms of lawsuits these days, whether it's related to immigration or not. But in general, for you, who asked New York '04, you do expect to wait in general 60 days after they've been served. Okay. And hopefully you served them the correct way. You can't use FedEx. You got to use snail mail, USPS. If you didn't know that, then you definitely should hire a lawyer to help you with the rest of the way. Alrighty. But I do love sharing. Obviously, if you've been following the channel, you know I love sharing advice to the extent that, of course, you can try to file on your own. But if you absolutely want peace of mind and you don't want any hiccup, or at least prevent as many hiccups as possible, challenges, you know what to do. Give us a call or DM us. Alrighty, next question here. I'm really not intending to skip anyone. I'm just losing track with all these platforms. And plus, I think I was on live 90 minutes last night. Can anyone hit the like button if you happen to be live last night? Especially if you're on TikTok. Or hurry at. Do I believe processing times will change for 601A? No, I don't. I don't believe so. There is a class action lawsuit. From what I know, that's I won't say stopped, but it's been paused. So I don't believe it did any effect really, because we had at least a couple people contact us who were part of the lawsuit, and they complained about the same thing. There's nothing moving. I mean, there was activity court wise, but nothing that was helpful to the applicant. And by that time that happened, it was already around 3 years. So we have some clients that got approved in 3 year mark. We don't have any at the 4 year mark, still waiting. Most are at the 2 or 3 year mark at this point. That's still pending. Okay, so that's very unfortunate. I can understand why some attorneys want to file class action for something like that or in general, but I mean, I have the you know opportunity to reflect on that, and I'd say upon reflection, I would not have filed a class action for that kind of case type. Because think about it, a judge is definitely not going to. I mean, just realistic, at least, not going to let that many thousands of, or even the U.S. attorney is not going to let that many thousands of applications of one type of application for a court to say, or even through settlement, say that USCIS is going to agree to process your case in, I don't know, 15 months or something. That would be great, of course, but it's not realistic. I don't think they have the personnel to handle it. And waiver cases are not one of those cases that can be rubber stamped. I wish. I say that often, but I do say it often more for like, work permit renewal. Alrighty. Um, when I see copy and paste questions on TikTok, it just throws me off. So it throws me off like where I left off. So please don't copy and paste unless I ask you, because I lost track. Also, should you expedite NVC? Your wife is pregnant. Congrats to you in general. She's expecting an interview around August. She'll be 6 months. Um, you can try. When we've been able to get the expedite approved, and where are you at? Right? Where's your case at? Oh, NVC, I guess. NVC does allow expedite, but if it's just pregnant only, I don't think it's gonna work. You can try. You can certainly try, but in NVC, I don't believe NVC has a specific web page about expedite. Like we've collected information from here and there, but it's kind of similar to USCIS. Um, but anyway, we've had expedite granted through USCIS and NVC when we told them there's pregnancy complications. Um, Now they don't always ask for proof, but they could. So if that helps, wish you the best. But we always tell the truth. Just thought I'd share that little tidbit. Alrighty. But at any moment, this is not Congress authorized. So at any moment, the agency could just get rid of it. So just keep that in mind. It's definitely not one of those like it's a guarantee type situation that you might think. Hmm. Okay. Mr. T on TikTok. How long for H-1B visa employee to apply for a green card? There's no specific limitation. Um, as far as I know, like a minimum amount of time with H-1B before it can get sponsored for residency. Nothing like that. It's more so about the employer being what do you call that? accustomed to your work ethic, I guess you could say, or feel comfortable to sponsor you. But I don't think any employer is going to proactively say, "Hey, Mr. T, it's time to talk about sponsoring you for a green card." I do that. Our team does that. We're like, "Give you a little nudge, employer. You might want to consider this." Um, but that's why I encourage employees to find the right moment, time to have that conversation with your supervisor because that's not top of mind for them. They got other employment issues HR has to deal with, which is not saying that's more important, but I don't know, maybe harassment, benefits, PTO, things like that. So hopefully that helps you a bit. And by the way, Mr. T or anyone else who has H-1B or any other non-immigrant visa through a company, working through a company, that same company doesn't have to sponsor you for residency, right? So if you're looking to get promoted, get for an upgrade, you can consider another company. You don't have to be working currently or presently at the time that you're sponsored for residency. You only have to be working for them at the time of when the residency is approved. I know it's kind of interesting, right? But hopefully that helps. It's different than H-1B in that sense. Hi, Paragon. Missed. You have a pending asylum case for 7 years. Should you go for expedited review? I don't know what you mean by expedited review. Do you mean request expedite or submit expedite request or something like that? You can certainly try, but we file lawsuits, of course. If that doesn't work for you, we're happy to file a lawsuit. The minimum wait time for asylum pending, we file after you reach the 4 years. So you're almost double that, Paragon. So it's time to roll. Let's get going. Okay. Hey, thanks for scheduling a time at my office, and we'll point you in the right direction. Okay. Here to help if you need it. Hopefully, many of y'all don't need our services. To be honest, I know it's weird for a lawyer to say that because there's just so many delays everywhere, and hopefully, USCIS and Department of State pick up the slack. But I just doubt it. I really doubt it. It's very unfortunate. Okay. Alrighty. Let me go back up here. Okay, back to JQC Healthfit. I feel like I need a workout right now. It's been a while, even though I have on my calendar. My team thinks I've been working out this entire time. It's been a few months. Ooh. Can my son adjust? Can your son adjust? He's here with you right now in the US. Okay. He has H-1B. And you filed for him with your wife. I-130, but you're an LPR. It's likely not going to work because he has H-1B. So yeah, I don't recommend having that expectation for you, JQC Healthfit, because even though on the what do you call it, the fancy seal on on his passport is a B1, B2, and I believe it actually says visa, that doesn't mean the authorized stay. Okay, the the nice seal, embossed seal or glossy on his passport does show you typically a 10-year validity date, but that doesn't mean a person can stay in the United States for that amount of time. You might know that already, but just trying to explain the difference here. So if he were to hypothetically stay, a person in his situation, especially when sponsored by a resident, that beneficiary for national needs to show that that person has maintained status. And B1, B2 is not going to be it. It's just not enough time, unfortunately. It's taking a risk. And with a child, especially with a child, you're trying to pre-plan a lot of things. I get it. So that's why I definitely want to answer your question as soon as possible. And hopefully you're still on. By the way, folks, if you're interested in learning more about our team, go to greencardguys.com. If you want to join our Facebook group, I know not everyone likes Facebook, or Meta, but if you want to join our Facebook group, go to teenlawclub.com. And hey, thanks for the fire. I didn't know that was possible. Okay. LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. We're trying to figure it out. Something about an e-newsletter. We're gonna start that up. So if you know any tips about that kind of stuff, we're just trying to get together social media wise. There's so many platforms. Alrighty. Offer Palong Palong on YouTube. You received the RFE through mail and email. Okay, great. What's the best way to respond? Email or physical mail? Now, it depends what the instructions say. If I'm by email, it says you can. Sometimes I believe it says fax it in. Maybe that's premium processing. Um, but if the email says you can email it back or fax it in, then I would just do that. Okay. But if you just want to be absolutely sure, then you can mail it in with tracking number. Okay. Hopefully that gives you some. I know that could be a little confusing. They're trying to expedite it, so the email should be real, should not be a scam. But you do want to make sure. Click on the email. Sometimes it can be hidden. Then you click on it and make sure it's .gov. Okay, very important. Government will never send an email that's .com. Alrighty. Hey, Kosi, what's up? You got a question over there? Arthur, you got RFI, request for information from Department of Labor. Oh, wretched. Those punks over there at the DOL. What does it mean? You have perm visa case since January. So they generally want information. Sometimes it could be based on what's it called? So you had the perm stage. You filed a labor certification. Is that where you're at, Arthur? They probably want some proof. So I can't say without looking further for you, okay, Arthur. But happy to welcome to schedule time with our team and upload that document for us to look at. Um, but if you have, I'm not trying to step on any attorney's toes here, especially if you're an attorney watching this. Some of y'all do, and welcome to the show. Happy to connect with you in the future. So send us a DM, especially if we can collaborate on some items, some situations. But here's the deal: if your company, you're being sponsored, right, Arthur? So if you have a company attorney, they may already have an arrangement with the immigration attorney. So, but if you want a second opinion, we're happy to take a look. But it's really best to try to contact your company's attorney first. I'm sure they have some kind of protocol on that. All right, let me switch back over here. Tome, I thought I responded to you yesterday, but welcome back. I-130 approved after interview, but no update on it. So how long has it been? I need a bit more information um, on that. Okay, so let me know. But generally, for 485 application, we don't file a lawsuit on that until it's 18 months of waiting time since file date. Miss Sichler, sorry if I mispronounced it. You said 45 is denied recently. Ooh, sorry to hear that. Then you filed 290B. Is your EAD and travel permit still good? Um, Actually, I gotta check my team on that. We've always understood it to be still valid, but let me check on my team. Um, yeah, that's a tough one. I just wouldn't update your employer if you have one. But do you have an attorney? Because I mean, just generally, we don't file 290B for that in general for 45. So it just depends on the scenario. Because folks, if you have to file a 290B, meaning you've been denied an application, and if that application allows you the opportunity to file 290B, there is no processing time. Okay. And that's because the government can take as long as they want. There is no processing time. It's ridiculous. It's not on the USCIS page that I check pretty much every single day for y'all. It's not on there. Okay. So, but again, it depends on the reason you were denied in the first place. You're welcome, JQC Healthfit. Karen Diaz, hi. How long after Bonifide approval does your work permit come? Oh, it's tough because there's actually been lawsuits on that, Karen. I'm sorry to say, but if it didn't require a lawsuit because not a delay, I would say average 6 months. So hopefully you filed that already. AO, when is a good time to sue for 751 after almost 2 years? Um, Now, you know what? Let me check processing time for 751. I know the receipt notice still says 48 months, I believe, auto extension, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to wait a full 4 years. Is that right? Does that say 48 months? And you don't necessarily have to wait the amount of time that shows on this not visa bulletin, this processing time schedule here. Okay, so this one says 23.5 months at California Server Center. So where are you at, AO? Or if you're still on, able to share your case location, and then I'll follow back up with you. Okay, let me switch over here. Hmm. Folks, thanks so much for your oh, you're in Texas Server Center? Well, Texas Server Center is what does it say right here? 29 months. Okay, that's gonna take some time there. Okay. But again, you don't necessarily have to wait 29 months if your case is at Texas. And by the way, it does not necessarily mean that your case, if you live in Texas, doesn't mean your case will be at Texas Server Center. If you live in California, it doesn't mean your case will be at California Server Center. It's supposed to be random, according to one of their web pages here. Okay. All right. Let's see. You're welcome, Karen, as well. All right. Okay. I see. I missed a couple people. My bad. You're a U.S. citizen. That you're a legal guardian to an undocumented 16-year-old. Is there any path to residency? Not through adoption, that's for sure. Because too late if since the child's already 16. And is there any path to residency? Um, if not through TPS, and DACA's most likely way too late for that person. Then for your guardian, I mean, or not guardian, the person you're watching over, then that would have possibly through employment. Okay, in the future, that's gonna be a tough one. Hmm. But you need to know this for that child. Children do not accrue unlawful presence until they turn 18 years old. Okay, let me repeat that, folks. Hot tip here. Children do not accrue unlawful presence until their birthday of 18 years old. So if that child is in the United States and you want to pre-plan, like this person I was just chatting about, who's guardian of 16-year-old, TikTok already moved it. Sorry. Then you definitely want to contact us. This could be a good webinar. Okay, so send us a DM if you're interested in any particular topic that I can't necessarily. You might think like won't be able to like answer so quickly here. Um, just send us a DM. Mention webinar, your name of course, and then what the topic is or slash question. Okay. Because yeah, that'd be good. I could record a video, or we could set up a webinar for that topic. Hey, TE, how long do you need to welcome back? How long do you need to wait for 45 interview, which is based on approved VAWA case? Apply at the same time, waiting for 4.5 years. Yeah, TE, I remember your comment. You haven't filed that lawsuit yet? It's about time. The cases we get approved of VAWA are generally 3 years. I mean, still a long time, but 4.5 years now. We gotta chat. You gotta contact us. Don't be shy, folks. Okay, I know I missed a couple on YouTube up there, so I'll get to y'all soon. Um, God bless Scotty on TikTok. Should your attorneys contact USCIS if VAWA is pending for 3 years? I mean, we check pretty much every month for clients as a courtesy benefit. It's difficult to check for every single case, but once it shows that it allows us to submit inquiry, then we're going to submit inquiry anyway. We don't even tell our clients until after the fact because it's too much back and forth. So I'm trying to say, even if our rule is a soft rule of 3 years, you're in your situation. God bless Scotty, might not be appropriate in terms of the processing time schedule here to to submit inquiry. It's all really upon this website here. I mean, I can show it on on YouTube here, but let me just put in for what is this one application someone asked about 71. So let me just put in a fake receipt date here, January 1st, 2021. Okay, so what is that? 3 years? 3 years. It does say I can send questions about this case by submitting service request, but let me just change it to like December 1st, 2021. It changed and it says your case is processing normally. The earliest you could submit questions is May 20th, 2024. So it just depends on your receipt date ultimately. Okay, hopefully that helps a bit. So don't get too frustrated at your attorney if they're like, no, we can't submit inquiry. It's the truth. I just shared it with y'all. And I think I may have a video on how to do that somewhere. Yeah, TE, exactly. You requested many times inquiry to USCIS. They just don't care. There's no response for you at all. I'm sorry to hear that. So, I mean, budget might be a concern for you. I don't know because I don't know if you've contacted us. I mean, I don't look at every single file, um, but yeah, you need to you need to file a lawsuit. If you I'm sure you got things to do. Look, folks, if you're wondering why file a lawsuit, why wait around, why not wait around? I mean, especially whether you have family or not, I'm sure y'all want to travel abroad outside the United States. And many of y'all have been here since in the United States since I don't know. I mean, some people call in and say they've been here since 2005. I had a meeting today, a session today, and that person entered in 2003 when they were 2 years old. So, not to say they've gone through every single state in the United States to travel, but some people want to travel abroad, go on a cruise. I get it. So, if it's the proper time, of course, we cannot guarantee results for every single case, but based on our experience, and we'll tell you if it's time to file a lawsuit or not. It's just really up to your comfort level, obviously. Alrighty. Uh, Martin on YouTube, you are on the CR1 group on Facebook. Many applicants for that visa received notification for their cases expedited in U.S. Embassy, Manila mass expedite. That's wonderful to hear. Does this happen often? No, it does not. So I'm glad to hear that. Um, but that's still a little bit strange. Like, what does that exactly mean? I mean, I'm going to speculate that mean that you're going to get scheduled for an interview. Maybe they hired more people all of a sudden. Maybe they're just twiddling their thumbs for 6 months and now they're expediting everyone to have an interview. I wonder if that also mean like some interviews could be waived. Keep us updated, okay, Martin, if you don't mind. Um, and we got this little Facebook group we're trying to grow. Okay, our club, teamlawclub.com. Martin or anyone else that wants to join, please share your experience on there, and we greatly appreciate it. As an attorney, is there? You mean as an attorney? Okay, I'm talking to user 8906 on TikTok. Is there a possibility for DACA recipients to receive pathway to citizenship? There is, but I mean, you're missing a step there, right? We have to go through residency first. Okay. Do you mean you're an attorney, or are you asking me as an attorney? Okay, I don't know, but yeah, in general, possible. Need more information. Um, TE, you have to contact us, not USCIS at this point. You can try InfoPass, but I don't know if that's gonna work for you. Okay. How should you ask about your case? You just tell them what the hell's up with my case. Why is my case taking so long? No, I'm just kidding. You definitely, you definitely want to be polite. Okay. All right, folks. I gotta jump off. I greatly appreciate. So sorry if I wasn't able to answer your question. Thank you so much. Y'all know what to do. Share, tap, follow, like, and click on the link to schedule time. Okay. All right. Y'all have a good one. Take care now. Peace.